are you?
Hello. Hi, Natalia. I'm good. Thank you very much. How are you?
I'm very, very well. Thanks. What time is it right now in Singapore?
Oh, it's like 8:39 p.m. It's almost night, so I'm not still getting ready to sleep, but almost.
Okay, I see. Yeah, thank you so much for your time and that I'm allowed to ask you a few exciting questions. I'm really looking forward to this.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's really great to have this opportunity to have a chat together, especially with your activity online as well as mine. So I hope that we will be able to share some good insights for the audience.
I'm very, very sure about that. So for those of you who have no clue who you are and what you do, who are you in 2 sentences? And then please also explain, what is a cyber feminist?
So I am Magda Chelly, and I call myself a cyber feminist hacker, but I will come back to that. I'm a managing director of a cybersecurity firm here in Singapore, where we provide cybersecurity advisory, training, and recruitment globally. And I actually launched the initiative Cyber Feminism. And what does it mean for me is basically encouraging women and young ladies into cybersecurity and changing a little bit the landscape, because currently we have like 11% of women in the cyber field, which is really, really low.
Yeah, wow. Very, very interesting. Okay. And how did you realize that this is your path? When did you realize I need to work in this? I need to make this happen?
When I started my career or my studies, I basically started by a career being an engineer. So I did a French system where you actually have 2 years of preparatory school. You need to pass a very heavy exam about physics and mathematics. And then depending on your score, you're attributed to a certain school. And that's what happened. So basically, I chose that field, and I became an engineer in telecommunication at the beginning. And then I decided, okay, I'm going to continue. I started, what's the point? Let me just go forward. So I did a master, and then I continued the PhD, and all in telecommunication engineering. So it was very heavy technically. And that's why I say that I have been working as well at the same time, because if not, I would become crazy. But then I didn't start immediately into cybersecurity. I was already very interested by everything that was related to computers and understanding how that works, everything that was related to signals, different signals, and how we can really change them and analyze them or manipulate them. When I was around 20, I started playing a little bit with emails and seeing how they vulnerable are and how easy it is to get to some emails. And then after a while, I became a consultant. So I was an IT consultant, security consultant. And then it just started over and over. And here I am today having my own cybersecurity company.
I love that. I love that. Thanks for sharing this. I was recently asked a story, or to provide a story of some examples when it comes to moving online as a woman. I got asked the question, Natalia, you publish so much content on social media. Do you think that women should be extra careful or extra mindful when it comes to publishing stuff or information or content out there? What's your opinion on that?
I definitely think that any person with a presence online needs to be careful. It doesn't matter of the gender. And this is because of the fact that we have 2 different types of hacking. One is the traditional hacking. So basically trying to get into a system via the network. And we have what we call the other type of hacking, which is social engineering. A social engineer will try to gather information about you as a person before getting into the system. So let's say, all the security questions that we have today, like what's the name of your
pet or your first book or whatever.
What's the first car that you had, etc. So all this information are very easily accessible online. So if you post a lot of information online, this might be easy for the hacker to find out. And I don't like using the word hacker. I would say the cyber criminal, because hacker as such was very positive. was meaning someone who was passionate about computer. So my advice here would be, yeah, you can post information, but be very careful about what kind of information you're posting, due to this fact that you can be a target for social engineering attacks. Another example, I post that I'm traveling to the USA or to any other country, and then you can receive an email saying, oh, there is some good promotion in the USA, or even worse, like click here because your ticket got changed. So, you know, social engineering is really something that's getting very much advanced. And even security professionals sometimes don't even realize there's a fake one.
Very, very interesting. I'm sure you've seen this one picture which went viral a few weeks ago. It was a picture of Mark Zuckerberg, and he was standing there with a friend, and in the background you could see his laptop. And the laptop had a small post-it or a tape or anything that covered his camera lens and his microphone. Why? And should we do the same?
Oh, I think today with all the spywares and all the malwares that you can find, definitely, yeah. I mean, look at my phone. You see this?
Yeah.
This is actually hiding the camera on my phone. So I go even beyond. I don't have only cameras on my laptop hidden, but I have also the cameras on my phone hidden. And that the reason behind it is, again, that we do not know today what can come up. Recently, there was a vulnerability with iPhones, and iPhone did not allow hackers to get into their phone through Wi-Fi. So there are various vulnerabilities today, and people need to realize that. So my advice would be, definitely, if you can, just hide your cameras and make sure that you put a tape or special, you know, today you can buy that online. It's very cheap. The special small sliders that can hide your camera.
Very interesting, because some people, they call me a conspiracy theorist when they see me running around with a sticker on my camera. It's like, what do you do? Why do you do that? It's like, well, if Mark Zuckerberg does that, it must mean something. Okay. One last question from my side, because a lot of my clients actually ask this question. They want to know what actually happens with all of the data in Insta stories or Snapchat or Facebook stories after 24 hours. They somehow disappear, but do they really disappear, or are they somehow stored in a cloud somewhere? What happens with this material?
So, you know, there is one thing that says it all. Whatever is on the internet stays in the internet forever. And I like to say that in my class, to my students, forever, ever, ever, ever. And we never know what really happens. There are two facts there, seriously. There's the first fact that actually is all about the storage cost for a company. So here is the reason why they would delete all this information, because that will cost money. So their business plan is about that this is temporary, so I do not need to purchase a very big amount of storage. That is one reason why we all should be a little bit confident about that it really disappears. However, on the second part, there is the fact that when something is on the internet, it is not completely gone unless there are very specific ways to delete that information. As an example, when you use Amazon Cloud Services, even when you delete some files, it's not completely deleted, because you have additional, I would say, methods to do, and technical, I would say, tasks to perform in order to make sure that everything is really gone.
Got it. Okay. Sorry, another question, because I think it's very, very important. I already have you on the phone or as we're talking. What is your last advice to people, or what's the number one mistake that you see people keep on doing? Teach us something that we can apply today.
Sorry, Natalia, the connection was not very good. Can you repeat, please?
What is the number one mistake that you see people doing, or what is the one key takeaway that we should go home with? And what is the one thing that we can apply today?
Oh yeah, definitely. One of the biggest mistake that I see is, you know what was the most famous password in 2012? Password. So can you imagine how easy it is for someone to get into an email or an account if the password is password? So
no way.
Yeah, seriously. So it is real. I mean, really? Like, people really? Why would you do that?
No, I thought it's a joke. Seriously, I thought you're
serious. And the other thing, of course, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, etc. You have the last name. You have the date of birth. Again, coming back to the fact that social engineering is the new hacking technique. But what happens is basically people have today the opportunity to use simple thing called two-factor authentication. Two-factor authentication means that someone will receive a one-time passcode on the phone, for example, or on an application called Google Authenticator or similar ones that allows to authenticate the person additionally. Not only to password, but to make sure that that person is that person. So my advice would be, use it. Activate two-factor authentication wherever you can. For your emails, Google allows it, Facebook allows it, Yahoo
Instagram
allows it, everywhere. So just take the opportunity and activate it. It's there and it's free.
Yeah, people are not aware. I think we need to talk more about it. I think we need more education on cybersecurity. We need to learn more about it, need to talk more about it. That's something that, 10 years ago, when I was at school, or not at school, sorry, at university, or people back then at school, that's a new topic. I just don't know.
So yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do, is raising awareness all the time. And by my weekly videos, I try to address different topics around this, like general awareness. As today, it should be taught, in my opinion, in schools from the beginning, when the kids actually are using their smartphones, tablets, etc., is they should actually understand that as they close the door of their house, they should close their data securely in their devices as well.
I love the metaphor. Thank you for all of these great stories and advices, and for broadening my horizon in this area. I think I learned a lot. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Natalia. You're most welcome. So let me now maybe ask you some questions, because, you know, we both have been living in the Middle East. I was in Qatar for 2 years. And then I moved to Asia, and you are living now in Dubai. So it's very interesting, and especially from my experience, I got a lot of questions. I was like, oh, how was it to be a woman in the Middle East, and especially how is it as a woman in business to move and to be recognized as a businesswoman out there?
A very interesting question. I think an Australian gentleman podcaster also asked me this. I do believe that here in the UAE, it's a beautiful, very, very modern place. We have people from over 200 nationalities. And I always crack the joke that we are so busy with understanding each other language or culture that there is no time at all for any male or female problems or challenges or discrimination. And that's exactly what I feel when I'm here. As a female entrepreneur or a female businesswoman, I do not see any other treatments or changes, or if there are any, then I'm treated better. Then I'm treated like a queen or like a princess because I am a woman. So yeah, I think the UAE, especially Dubai, is very, very modern in this area. Everything is wonderful. I don't feel anything where I would say, oh, that's weird, that's bizarre. I would have expected something different. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you. And I had also an absolutely amazing experience when I was in Qatar. I did not feel discrimination, or as you said, I actually felt like being treated like a princess a lot of times, which
Right.
actually it's a little bit different. I mean, I had some of my experience was literally much more difficult outside in other countries. Like I had strange experiences in France, comparing to the Middle East. So I think the media maybe is a little bit playing on that. And from our perspective, we had good positive feedback. So it's good to know. And then, of course, next question, like literally, you need to understand that. How did you come up with a role or a function for yourself called edutainer?
Oh yeah, it's a long story. So basically, I quit my corporate life in 2014. And after that, I realized I need to start blogging because there is knowledge in me and there are things in me that need to go out. So I decided, okay, good. I make it a blog. And in my blog, I will write in the way how I speak. I will write from the heart, and I close the deal with myself to be authentic and to be real and to behave and act in a way how I want other people to behave. So that was the first bit. Then 4 months later, I somehow found myself standing at Toastmasters International, the biggest association when it comes to public speaking. And I joined a meeting and I stood there on the stage for the first time and I did an impromptu speech. And it was a mix between social criticism and humor. And I thought, let me go all in. I don't know, something in me said, Natalia, just do it. Just do exactly what you do in your blog. And I was so stressed and tense, but people loved it. So I realized, wait, I think that's my USP. I think this is who I am and this is how I stand out. So I make people think and I make them laugh. I educate or I teach, I coach, but I also entertain. And then somehow, don't ask me how or why, I ran into this book which was called The Edutainer. And I thought, that's a sign. There you go. I am an edutainer. It's a mix between education and entertainment.
And I think it's absolutely fabulous. I mean, really, it's great. It's original. It's different. And I think it represents you, like all this positive energy that you have, and the fact that you probably have a different approach to education rather than the traditional one that we have seen for so many years.
Yeah.
So, next question, coming back to the fact that you are an edutainer and the Middle East, how you managed to start your business there and why there in particular? So what was the reason for you to start it there and maybe not in Europe? And how difficult was it to set up the business out there?
Well, I came to the UAE in 2008. I worked first for the government sector and then for the private sector. And then I realized both is not really my thing. And during the sabbatical, I realized that I really, really want to do something on my own. And I'm tired of working for other people. And I talked to other entrepreneurs. I ran into entrepreneurs and had discussions with them, and I saw so many people struggling because of their co-founder or because of investors or the next level of fundraising or anything. And I realized, so much drama and again, compromises. No, I don't want to do that. I somehow want to do something on my own. And I looked for opportunities, and to be very honest, I started as a freelancer because in the very beginning, if it's only you don't need an office. You can work from home. You don't need support in a way that you need to hire somebody full-time. I mean, my business is a business that I would call solopreneurship. Like in the beginning, I called myself a solopreneur, and it doesn't make sense to hire an assistant as long as you do not make the money that comes in to pay that person, right? It doesn't make sense to hire a business development manager when it's just you who could do that in the beginning. And through doing all of that, I think you will also learn what kind of people you need and what's important to you. And that's the beauty of it. So I said, you know what, I save money, I'm wise with money, I do everything on my own. If I need to outsource something, I outsource it to other freelancers. So this is the story how I started. Yeah.
This is fabulous. I mean, really, again, it's very interesting. And your story is definitely a motivation for other women, I would say. So, you know, between cybersecurity from my side and you being an edutainer, I think we can probably like make some young ladies think about their professional careers and maybe take more additional steps into leadership and entrepreneurship and technical fields as well. So thank you for this. It was really, really great. So what would be your advice for, let's say, coming back to what you do today and the fact that you have a very good experience with education? What would be your advice for young ladies, or in general for what we call millennials today, with their career?
Let me think. I think the one advice is, if you have what it takes to be an entrepreneur, if there's anything in you that says, oh, I want to do this, go for it. Because I think regrets are the most horrible things that will hunt you when you turn older. So if you want to try off starting your own business, go for it. And do not listen to people who gave up on themselves and who gave up on their dream, who tell you, oh, you're too ambitious, you want too much, you're too. Forget about that. Only because they accepted an average life and because they accepted unhappiness, this has nothing to do with you. So go for it. Find people who think and act in the same way, and listen to people who really created an empire and who made a difference, because these people, they know better.
Oh yeah, I can't agree more again. I mean, from my side, as always, I get a lot of comments as well saying to me, yeah, how did you start and what would you recommend? So I would say one thing, definitely go and do what makes you happy, what you can do, grow your potential and your skills and learn every day.
Yeah, exactly.
The one thing that I would like to add, however, is, because maybe it's something that many of people think, is that being an entrepreneur is being on vacation all the time.
I think it's the other way around. You're working all the time.
Exactly. So I would like to just make sure that everyone understands that it's not being on the beach all the day long and going on parties all the time. It's basically the opposite, is where the days starts very, very early and ends up very, very late, and no holidays, no vacation, no leaves. Because actually when you're on leave, there's no one else who will work for you. So that's at least for me. Is it the same for you, Natalia?
Yeah, definitely. Again, if you are a one-man show or one-woman show in the very beginning, when you go on holiday, your business goes on holiday. And I needed, let me think, 3 years. After 3 years, I allowed myself to take my first holiday for 10 days, and I combined it with a Vipassana retreat. That means 10 days, just meditating for 10 hours, no internet, nothing. And I was going insane. I mean, the fears that I created in my head, like, I will lose all of my followers, all of my clients will disappear, my business will collapse, I will have to start from scratch. So all the drama that I created in my head was ridiculous. And I lost, I think, in 10 days, less than 40 followers, which is the most normal thing on this planet, because we all know, people come and go. And I came back so refreshed, and I came back with a squabillion new ideas. So if you're listening to this and you are, somewhere struggling with third year or whatever, take that break. Seriously. Nothing is going to change. Your business is not going to die.
Oh my God, that's really definitely good advice. I'm thinking about that this year though, but just at least, like 3-4 days to recover and get some good rest and maybe some good meditation.
Yeah.
Natalia, I think it was great feedback and great insights from you from out there so far. Like, technology is amazing, isn't it? We can talk from the two ends of the world, and we can share our knowledge and experience with our audience. So thank you very much for this. It was great.
Thank you. Let's keep in touch, and let's see what we can do in the near future.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care.
Awesome. You too. Bye.
Bye.